Hello, and today we are doing an FPL review of game week number 22. Now, my FPL preview for game week 23 is going to be coming tomorrow at 11 o'clock, of course. And I would do it before the deadline, but I don't want you to copy my team, you know. I know my team rubs off on these kind of people, but, you know, we want to keep it secret. But the point is, you will check out my changes, my transfers, or transfer, or none at all. You will find out. But yeah, this is instead a review of game week 22. It finished last night with Tottenham 0, Chelsea 1. And some other results from this weekend included a 1-0 win for Brighton against Liverpool. This Premier League season is unbelievable. We also had 2-0 wins for both City and Leicester in games against, of course, Burnley and Fulham, respectively. And Leeds facing Everton, a 2-1 victory for the Toffees. West Ham absolutely coasting past Villa 3-1. And talking of coasting, 9-0 for Manchester United against Southampton. Those were just some of the results, but let's get into my FPL preview, my FPL review for game week 22. Now, was it a good week in summary? You know what? Could have been worse, but not ideal. So let's get into it. So to start off with, how many points did we score in game week 22? It was in fact 72, which is pretty solid, but I'll go into the depths of that. And the average this week was 57, so it's above average. The highest points, fair play, to an absolute wonderful total by Matthias Stanger. I thought it said strange there. It has been a strange game week, but no. Matthias Stanger from Denmark with an amazing 147, and the bench boost was a great time to do it this week because people had Antonio and Justin on their benches, and some people had Souček on their benches. We'll get into Souček a little bit later, but yeah, well done to you. But in terms of my team this week, it wasn't too bad, you know. We got a game week rank of 2,094,700, so that doesn't really make it out that it's a great score because a lot of people got high scores this week in the 80s and the 90s, especially some good people that chose the right captains this week. And I said in my FPL preview for game week 22, captaincy this week was so difficult. But the transfer I made was Souček out, Wilfried Zaha in. And I made that on the 2nd of February. So that was literally about 10 minutes before the deadline shut. You saw me do it live on the preview, and we're going to talk through the success of that. But basically, let's go through each player one by one, and then once we've done all of that, we'll reveal my overall rank, my overall points, all that juicy stuff. So to start off with, I didn't want to take a hit this week. I just made the one transfer of Zaha in for Souček. The reason behind that, I saw Palace's fixtures coming up very tasty indeed, and West Ham, you know, going forward, they're a good side this season, but did I want to own 3 West Ham assets long term? No. And Souček was off form. He hadn't scored since that game against against Crystal Palace, and he was kind of having a few blips in form. Got booked against Liverpool. I just thought he would start to not get as many goals. And yeah, I just wanted a fresh player in the team. Zaha, I thought, was my man. So yeah, just the one transfer, no hits. And that's how we went into the game week. So it's not a good one, basically. It's a red arrow. It's a red arrow this week. Oh, it's a frustrating one. It is, because if there was a few things that just went differently. So, you know, it is my second red arrow in a row, by about a decline of about 20k, which really does sting. I'll reveal to you my rank at the end. But it's not good, basically. I've gone down in a fair few of my mini leagues, and you just hate to see that. And transferring out Souček, I just wish I hadn't done it. I wish I'd just not made any transfers at all, and just left my team, because it would have got more points. But I just didn't like the 3 West Hams long term, that was it. And you had to look at those Palace fixtures and say they were tempting. But Palace only just beat Newcastle, and Zaha, Wilfried Zaha goes and gets injured before the 60-minute mark. Absolute nightmare, 1-pointer, and then Souček has to go and bite me back and get a goal against against Villa. Nightmare stuff. You need to just leave it out, Thomas Souček. Like, I transfer you out, and he goes and scores. So very, very annoying there. And then the new transfer in gets a hamstring injury that's going to rule him out for long term. So not good at all. It is what it is. At first I thought he was going to be back for the Leeds game. And it was only going to be a slight injury, but doesn't look that way now. And in terms of captaincy, I was so close, man. I was so close. I said in my caption of the video, captaincy was hard this week. And it really was. Because everyone was like, oh yeah, Salah's class. Like, Liverpool were back to their best. They beat Spurs. They beat West Ham. They were unlucky, I suppose, to maybe lose in the Cup if you classify that as unlucky. But Salah was back to his best. So everyone thought, yep, let's jump on the Salah train. Captain against Brighton. Easy dub. And I did realise how Brighton had beaten Spurs and thought, okay, it won't be as easy as we all think. But you still expected a Salah return of some sort. Liverpool have gone and done it again. 2 successive home defeats. That is just an absolute nightmare. And that Salah captaincy stings so bad because I think a lot of people just turned to Salah this week. But if you'd have gone with something a bit more differential, then it would have really paid off. So the big hitters are just not really justifying their price tags at the minute. And I was so close to that Bruno captaincy. So close. I vice-captained Bruno. And I was just praying that Salah would get a rest so I'd get Bruno's double points, but it didn't happen and it was a frustrating one for many people. And I basically have this thing where I say I sometimes go with my gut more with captaincies, and I'm not joking you, right? I had a dream about an astronaut and I thought, okay, this has got to be a sign. So I Googled it the next morning, Premier League astronauts, and what came up first? Manchester United. And there was something about, like, back in the past, Jose Mourinho and an ex-astronaut or something like that, and he knew a friend. Literally, if I'd have just... I know that's a bit hard to base any good evidence off, but if I'd have just gone with what, my dream told me, and I've had this before, like, I had a dream that Grealish did really well, and I should have captained him 1 week, and I didn't do it, and I should have. Like, I don't know, I think I should just listen to my initial instincts more, but I just... I really did shy out of it, and I wasn't bold enough. I wasn't brave enough to not captain Salah. And a lot of people are saying you need to be brave enough to get rid of him now, but he's still Mohamed Salah. Like, I would be absolutely, biting my fingernails if I had to transfer him out. So, yeah, it's not ideal. Obviously, so many blanks and so many problems for Liverpool right now, but it's still Liverpool. Like, They can do what they did against Spurs in any given game week. So let's just see how we do. And there's bigger fires to put out, I think, than really getting rid of Salah at the minute. But it was a really annoying one. But on the other hand, if you don't have Bruno, then you're going to be kicking yourself this week. Obviously, I'm kicking myself I didn't captain him, but at least he was in my team. And what a return for him. 17-pointer. That is beautiful. And we're going to go player by player in just a sec. But Stuart Dallas, I'm not happy with you. I'm not happy with you at all because you are a legend. You are a GOAT. You are the next Lord Lundstrom because you're a midfielder playing in defence. It's perfect. But why do I just not get the right, I don't have the chemistry and the link up with him in terms of when he wants to score goals and when I want to play him. So, of course, he does nothing when I put faith in him this week. I didn't think he'd get a clean sheet against Everton because they've been in quite good form, but I was at least hoping for an attacking return. It didn't come this week, and I didn't get the points last week when he was on my bench and he scored against Leicester. So, yeah, annoying, but he's still a good player to have. Now, Sanchez in goal, absolute legend. He's so underrated and got a clean sheet against Liverpool and Spurs back to back. Brighton have been keeping a lot of clean sheets recently, so keep out for that. And he's absolutely legendary. But he was on my bench this week, of course, facing Liverpool. Mendy playing Tottenham, I just had a feeling that would be another 0-0 top 6 game. It wasn't 0-0, but it was a clean sheet for Mendy. Now, in a few of my head-to-heads, I needed Mendy to get like 11 points. to really satisfy me. He only got 6 because, you know, there was no amazing bonuses. And even if he'd got bonuses, it would only have been 9 points, which wouldn't be enough. But the main thing is, you know, it's annoying when Sanchez outscores Mendy, but at least Sanchez is in my team, and at least Mendy also got a clean sheet this week against a very toothless Tottenham Hotspur. They're really struggling without Harry Kane in that team. And then the Man City defence, it's just indestructible, isn't it? It just can't be beat. And now they face a Liverpool team that haven't scored in consecutive home games. So, you know, people are looking at that and saying you should bench all your Man City defenders. Maybe some, but not necessarily all. You know, Joao Cancelo, so attacking, could get goals there. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But it is very, very reliable, that defence, and they are looking so confident at the back. Unfortunately, Stones did fail to get a bonus. He was a few points away. I think Sterling was on like 25, Stones was on 24, and I think the next person after Sterling got like 27. So he was close to a bonus, but you know, it is what it is. We move with it, and to have the double up is always nice to get 12 points pretty much guaranteed on your defence if you've got a good fixture for Man City. And then Grealish. Jack Grealish always delivers, and since I've brought him in, he's been so consistent. Goal against Burnley, assist against Southampton, and another assist against West Ham. He was a little bit quiet against West Ham, admittedly, and maybe I got a little bit lucky with that Grealish assist for the Watkins goal. But at the end of the day, he's letting his football do the talking, and he's just such a big part of that Villa team. So, yeah, there's no way he's going anywhere for my team. And also, Gundogan 8-pointer. It's what you love to see, really. One of the highlights of the week. Looked really, really good. I mean, I brought him in a few weeks ago to captain against Sheffield United, and that was unfortunate. He had to go and blank then, but he's repaid the faith, and an 8-pointer is always very nice. And then DCL. What a legend, mate. What a legend. He's back in business, and he's back in the goal trail. So big for me, because I looked at that Leeds game and just thought, will I play him? Yes, I will. There won't be many games like that for Everton where they can get points and goals against leaky defences, and we know Leeds are leaky. Even if Stuart Dallas does get some goals, he doesn't really keep many clean sheets. So yeah, it was a bit of a contrasting, conflicted one with me having to play Dallas and Calvert-Lewin, but I was sure that one of them would get the goals, and it was Calvert-Lewin. So very, very good to see that. Lovely flying header at the back post, and hopefully he can get a bit of form now. He's not been that good recently, but you know, a goal breeds confidence, and you can go on one of those mazy runs that he did at the start of the season. And then, of course, Antonio, mate. What a legend. My guy, Mikhail, really, really good. Double assists this week. Lovely. Just lovely. You know, he could have easily scored more goals against Palace recently, and he just gets goals and assists and stuff. So, yeah, he's a good player. And then, yeah, to wrap up, all in all, a very solid week. To 72's, you know, it's not ideal because a lot of people have scored better, but you know, it's not a disaster, that's for sure. I was hoping really this week for 80 plus. I was hoping for around about the 85 mark, but we didn't quite get it. And if we'd have captained Fernandes, we certainly would have got there. But you know, a few people not captaining Fernandes would have been a bit of a tough one to take. But you know, roll on game week 23. Let's see if this thing can get a bit better. We have dropped in rank, and talking of rank, before I go through each player by player, we will talk you through my rank. So it is now currently 247,492, which, as I said before, was a drop of 20k. Roughly, I was on 227, and then 7,000 or 700 or something, and now we're down to 247,492, which is not ideal because we want to keep on getting higher. But you know, I said at the start of the season 600k would be my target. If we can break into that top 100k, that would be really, really nice, and try and get into the top, you know, 4 or 5% in the country, or in the world, I should say. But the point is, it's not a terrible rank, you know. We've got to keep on pushing. And talking of pushing, I want to push for more points, and my overall points is 1,340, which isn't bad at all. You know, got a lot of people on less than that, and obviously I would like to get more, but it is what it is this week. So let's go through each and every score for my individual players. Now, we already mentioned how that transfer didn't really work out, so we'll skip ahead in terms of Zaha, because we know he got 1 point. Absolute disaster. But Mendy, well done, son. He's got a lot of clean sheets recently, you know. That Chelsea team is looking to build from the back, build with basics, and defensively they look good. Clean sheet against Fulham, clean sheet against Wolves, clean sheet against Burnley, and now clean sheet against Tottenham. So, yeah, very, very happy with Mendy. He was a good buy for that double game week, and now they've got 2 nice fixtures again, really. Sheffield United. I mean, Sheffield United, you never know what to call with them, because they do have fight in them, and they're coming back with that really massive win against West Brom. But still chances for points. And Newcastle, we know how, you know, struggled they've really been going forward this season. Callum Wilson is the only real man you would say would threaten that clean sheet, but otherwise, good chance of it there. And then he's got a couple of games which are hit and miss. And then back to game week 30, he's got West Brom, Palace, Brighton, Fulham. So, yeah, he's a good player to own, that's for sure. And 6 points, did the business with the clean sheet against Spurs. Then John Stones, clean sheet against Burnley. When you have defence and when you have goalkeeper, all you want in fantasy is a clean sheet. Obviously, a goal and a bonus is lovely if you can get it. It is a bonus, to pardon the pun, but it's always nice to get the minimum requirement, a clean sheet, and that was the same thing for Ruben Santos Gato Alves Diaz. He's been absolutely brilliant in my team since I brought him in, and I've got him in game week 19, I do believe, for that first, or was it? Yeah, the first game against Palace where he got an assist, yeah, he just really is very, very consistent. That centre-back partnership of Stones and Diaz just can't be stopped. And I've got that partnership, so very happy with that. Stuart Dallas, mate, like, where's the goal coming from? It's just disappointing. I thought he would get a goal and didn't really show much attacking chances, but neither did Leeds, really. They had to recover with that goal early on in the second half, but it was kind of a game that Everton had seen out quite comfortably. And it's annoying to have conceded 2 goals and, you know, concede a goal so early for Leeds on 9 minutes from Gylfi Sigurdsson, but it's a -1 for the 2 goals conceded. Still would have been nice for a second return, but, you know, it's a 1-pointer. We move on. We don't talk about it, really. And then the rest of my midfield was very, very successful, other than Mo Salah, of course. Mo Salah, 2-pointer. He just wasn't really in the game against Brighton. Had that one chance where Trent pulled it back and he kind of had the snapshot, and then had a chance before that he really should have done better. But yeah, that Liverpool team is struggling in general, so it's a bit of a sticky one with that one. But 2 points as a captain is never nice to see. But then from then on, the midfield was absolutely beautiful, and the forward line as well. Grealish, assist, lovely stuff against West Ham, and to top things off, a lovely little bonus. He's very much involved in that Villa team, and he's, you know, got some very good fixtures coming up, you know, against Brighton, Leeds, Wolves, Newcastle, so very, very nice. And Bruno Fernandes, the absolute king of the week, 17-point haul. If only I'd captained you and listened to the astronaut clue. But anyway, no, the thing about this is he's a great player, and a lot of people were trying to sell him. People were saying, sell Salah. People were saying, sell Fernandes. The Salah case, maybe you'd say, is a bit more towards selling him right now, because they're in bad form now. They've got Man City. But I'm going to keep Salah because I just don't like it. Don't like selling him. Fernandes was obviously a player who was really struggling. They had the terrible game against Sheffield United that he blanked. He also blanked in a game you'd have hoped for some sort of return against... who was it? It was against, Arsenal. Although that was a top 6 game again, that are usually quite tight. So, yeah, he had been struggling a little bit. Didn't get any goals against Burnley, against Wolves, against Sheffield United in the reverse fixture as well. So it was a case of, Bruno, mate, you need to come back and tell us why we should keep us in your team. And he kind of just done that. against Southampton. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, when he scores 9 goals in a game, you hope for, for a player of Bruno Fernandes's quality, maybe a hat-trick or a brace of assists, or, well, I say a brace of assists, that's what he got, but the point is, at least 4 or 5 attacking involvements in those 9 goals. But just the 3 against Southampton is not bad, but as I said, considering Salah had an absolute nightmare this week, if you'd have captained him, then fair play, a goal and 2 assists. I mean, he does often rely on penalties a lot, but you could say maybe the same with people like Kevin De Bruyne when he's back from injury, and Salah, of course, is on pens. But with Bruno, he is playing a little bit deeper because of Pogba, but he still does get assists. Very nice little headed one for the last goal from Daniel James, and also a little assist there for the previous goal. So, it's a 17-point haul. It's lovely stuff, and it just shows you Bruno Fernandes is still a good player, and we shouldn't rush to get him out necessarily, but it depends your team plan, I suppose. And then İlkay Gündoğan, love it. The German midfielder that's actually been probably the best player in the whole of January. I think he's got to have January of the player of the month, but in fantasy terms, for my team, he's only brought in since game week 21, and there was nothing there for him. So to get the return, it felt right. It felt nice to get back the points I hadn't had against Sheffield United, and it was a lovely assist, wasn't it? For that Sterling goal, really good ball in, and Sterling, really couldn't miss it. So yeah, the fixtures do turn for Manchester City, but just because of their consistency and the fact they're scoring goals, does that necessarily mean they'll stop it? Not necessarily. I think they're in such good form that they could even do well against these big teams. So we'll see how that goes. But very nice stuff from Gündoğan, and 2 bonuses along with that assist and the clean sheet is very, very lovely to see. So yeah, very happy about him. And then Antonio. I mean, I was surprised he didn't get an assist, to be honest. In the previous game, of course, against Liverpool, because he was their main threat. He had that chance where he curled it wide. But he got 2 assists to make up for it in this game, and probably should have got a bonus. But I suppose there were a lot of attacking qualities in that Villa game, especially Jesse Lingard. What a debut, 2 goals. Jay Lings is proving the doubters wrong, but Antonio is actually getting consistent game time, and this is kind of what we feared with him coming back after that long time out. He came back for the double game week, and now he's actually playing consistently. So it's really, really good to see. And he's he's delivering goals. He's that big main threat for West Ham going forward, and he got the 2 assists in this game. So 8 points, don't mind it at all. And finally, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 9-pointer. He got 3 bonuses, which is always satisfying to see. And back in the goals is very, very nice indeed. So then the bench, Sanchez, 7-pointer. I said about how Sanchez is underrated, and he's getting clean sheets against the biggest of teams. He's getting some lovely saves in as well. And I remember he made that amazing stop in the Spurs game. Didn't have as much to do in this game, but still, when he was called upon, looked very solid. And to get another bonus as well, very, very nice. Would have been nice if he was in my team, but at the end of the day, it was only 1 point more than Mendy, so it's not the end of the world. Cresswell, 1-pointer. Brewster, 0. And Kilman, 1-pointer. So it's always nice to know you've got an option as a goalkeeper on the bench if Mendy did get injured or there was a postponement, or even if there's a better fixture for Mendy or Gündoğan, or Sanchez, I should say. So thanks for watching this FPL review of game week number 23, or 22, I should say. I always get the weeks mixed up, but that's been a good one. Hope you have enjoyed, and smash a like on the video. I'll see you next for the game week 23 preview.